Hello, everyone. Welcome to another seminar that I'm putting together. It's finding happiness in real estate. I know it's a very broad subject, what is happiness, but the more of the question is, what is happiness to you? Now, something to think about. Happiness is attained through your self-awareness, your awareness of these things I just mentioned, awareness of the fact that there's going to be circumstances or people that will kind of bring you down. It's okay. But the question is, will you allow them to, right? But the best way to minimize some of these issues that you're running into, whether it's your personal life or your business life or any part of your life, your physical health or your mindset kind of thing, your psychological mindset, it's about balance. So is it about having balance in your life? That's a question that you're gonna ask yourself. Are you balancing or maintaining a balance in your life? Because this real estate can suck you in and suck you dry, okay? And I can tell you right now, I've gone through that process. I've gotten obsessed with the business. It's wonderful. The income was great. There's nothing wrong with that. The only thing I can tell you, just like everything else I just mentioned to you earlier, it can be temporary and it can affect you in the long run. So just keep that in mind, something to think about. Is it about balance in your life? Is it the goals or achievement at work? That's just part of the balance that you need to maintain, right? So you gotta keep in mind, as you are going through your life, you're gonna have goals, but your goals shouldn't only be about work. It should be about other things as well. Goals in terms of how strong your relationship with your family, how close you are, how well bonded you are with your children, if you have children, or whoever you're connected to. The question of how healthy are you? Are you maintaining your weight? Are you trying to make sure that no matter what happens that you get sick less? And there's studies been done on that where the people that are working so much, are workaholics, tend to have more issues in their health than people that are not. So, but keep in mind, if you're a workaholic, it's okay, but you have to be able to kind of maintain the other parts of your life as well. And that's where people miss out. And like I said, this is the kind of question you have to ask yourself, because happiness, like I said, is from within, but you don't really need anything else but your way of thinking. The fact that nothing externally will be able to affect you. This is also brought up in a book actually by Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. This is a very good book to read if you ever get depressed or down out there while you're doing your business. Why? Because that book will give you a realization of what it looks like, how bad it can get for any human being. And it's encapsulated in that book, and it shares with you how you can find happiness through meaning in your life. They call logotherapy. He's one of the creators of that, Viktor Frankl. He's a psychiatrist. He's renowned for the logotherapy, the whole idea of your life having meaning. That's the fulfillment part of your life. So not only that your life will have other things as like achievement at your work or balance in your life, all these other things, but the whole idea that you have meaning as you go through life. And having that meaning is the seed to keep away all these things that can get you depressed, anything that can get you sad, anything that others can do to you while whether you're working or you're doing something else. The point I'm trying to make is how it affects our business is you being together. Because at the end of the day, you sell you. In the real estate business, houses is not what we sell. We sell us to be in between the transactions on each and every house that actually goes out there. Is it the time you spend with others? That's one thing I can tell you. If there's any regret anybody have in life, and that affects their happiness, is the fact that they are looking in the past and they say, oh, I wish I'd spend more time doing XYZ, whatever that is, right? So just keep in mind when you're working, you got to maintain that balance. It's something I cannot stress any more than what I'm doing right now. Step-by-step approach to happiness. This is good. At least I'm giving you guys a step-by-step. It's very important actually. Kind of nice. It's kind of nice when you're listening to someone, okay, this is all the problems or this is all the situations, how you become a happy person, but nobody shows you the step-by-step. So let me show you the step-by-step. Number 1, identify incidents or memories that produce negative feelings in your mind. Why would you do that? Because you need to get that out of your back end of your brain. It affects you as a person. It affects the way you make decisions. It affects the way you talk to people. It affects the way you can trust people. Because a lot of the times when you have incidents that happen in the past, you project that in the future. So if someone, let's say one person stole something from me, hypothetically, and I meet the next person in a very similar circumstance, right? As long as I'm not identified why or what or how this person stole something from me, right? And on top of that, accept the fact that there are going to be people like that, then it's hard for me to move forward to the next person who I would be thinking that would be stealing from me as well. Well, guess what? If you live your life not trusting anyone, nobody will trust you. And I don't think you'll be able to sell a single house out there as long as you have that issue, a chip on that shoulder that you have. So identifying incidents or memories that produce negative feelings in your mind creates a process for you to heal. And I think that's one of the things that we try to forget the negative things. Oh, let's forget about that. Well, no, bring it up at some point and then get it out of the way. And that's the step 2. Accept those feelings as something that is part of you, right? That's already happened. It's in the past. Like I told you earlier, happiness is in the present, not in the future or trying to predict what the future looks like. There was an interesting book I was reading. Can't remember what it was now, but he was a POW prisoner, and he was one of the few people that survived his prisoner camp because everybody got tortured. Some of the people in that POW camp were looking at the past of what's going on in the past, like all these horrific things, and they couldn't move forward anymore because they couldn't take what humiliation they went through, what pain that and suffering they went through, and they just wanted to kill themselves. So some of them just die. I mean, literally just die out of stress, right? So those are what we call the pessimistic people. And then you had the optimistic people. Every holiday that's coming out, they were saying, oh my goodness, I will be able to get out. Christmas, we're going to be pulled out of this place. Christmas comes along. New Year's comes along. Nothing happened. Following year comes around. Oh, July 4th. I heard July 4th is actually Independence Day. And, our country is working with this country and we're going to be able to actually get out of this POW camp. Right? Projecting the future. Predicting the future. Projecting the future. Well, 4th of July came around, it passed, nothing happened. And eventually those people were so unhappy that they wanted to die. So now you got the optimistic people. And the only few people that survived were the ones that were looking at it and saying, okay, I get up this morning today. I know I'm going to get tortured. I know I'm going to get insulted. But it's okay. Because this is my circumstance right now. Now, at some point, it may change, it may not. But it doesn't matter. I have to deal with it, what I have right now. Then, that same people were also thinking, they can take away everything around me. But if I have what I have inside, and I can imagine what my life looks like. Not what my life looked like in the past or what my life looks like in the future, but what it looks like right now. Imagine that if I survive this, then I'm one of the lucky people. That's it. That's all they had. They were looking at what they are living for. They're living for the idea that they're going to see their wife one day. They don't know when and if they ever will, but they were having some kind of a meaning inside. And with that meaning inside, help that person go through the torture that they were going through. And eventually when he was let out. And then that person wrote a book. And that book I happened to read, and I realized, there's so many things that happen in my life. There's so many things that happen in my real estate career that whatever happened in the past, I have to be able to cut off so that I can continue doing the things that I do, that I'm passionate about in the real estate business, and be as excited as I was the day I started in the real estate. So you're going to have out there some people that this message will come to, probably have been top producers at some point, really kicked butt out there, and you really did so well, and then all of a sudden the business goes down, all your staff went out, and you're by yourself selling houses, and you're like thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, this another day I have to do work. Well, for those people out there like this, imagine you never actually sold a single house yet, and you're starting out new, and you're looking forward to the next sale that you're going to make. They have this cliche that, the best salesperson is as good as the last sale, right? Well, it applies in this business, very much so. You're as good as the last mindset that you had, that you're excited about selling. That's what that's all about. It's not the fact that you've done whatever you had done in the past. It doesn't mean that you can replicate that in the future. But what it does mean that if you forget whatever happened in the past and you get up in the morning and feel excited again about your business, then you're going to get somewhere. One of the things that I've done in my career, the best years that I've actually had, was having a coach, because the coach was always able to look at the world differently than I would. And of course, if you're going to hire a coach, hire a positive coach, somebody who's excited about the business, because some people out there are like, oh, I've been doing this for 28 years, 30 years. But they're like, oh man, I'm telling you, I'm sick and tired. That's why I'm coaching, because I can't deal with people selling houses anymore. Well, that makes you think that they can actually coach you very well as well. So that's another thing you got to think about. So the third, step number 3, recognize that others have gone through similar circumstances. So you're not the only one out there. You're not the only new agent out there, okay? It took me 4 years to build up my career in the real estate business. 4 years. For 4 years, I was selling one house per year. I didn't think I even sold, first 2 years, I don't think even I sold 2 houses, actually. It's on my 3rd year, I sold 3. And then 4th year, I sold 1 or something like this. So I was getting ready to quit the business, okay? So for those of you that are new in this business, don't get discouraged. I mean, if I could make it through 4 years, I'm sure you haven't been in the business 4 years yet and sold nothing. One of the most stubborn people you get to meet out there, and yet I'm still here 26 years later. How does that happen? Well, somebody has to look and help you look at the business in a different angle. And that angle will create possibilities in terms of opening your mind with all the things that you could be doing, all the activities that you could be doing. See, the reality of it, the reason why you're not producing anything right now, if you're not producing anything right now, is the amount of activities that you're doing. And the attitude, actually, it's the attitude of not being happy where you are. It's okay. You can always convert that unhappiness in terms of activities. Then you can change your world and be happier on those temporary things that we talked about earlier. But the reality of it is you need to be able to look at a different approach to where you are. So whatever you're doing, if it's not working, like one of the people I'm mentoring, I said, stop doing it, because it looks like you're very unhappy with it. I told her, do something else different, and let me show you how to do something else different. And that's really the key, being able to, understand that other people are going through the same thing as you are. Some of you have been experienced and been selling a lot of houses. All of a sudden, nothing. No houses are being sold, or whatever the excuse is. COVID, da 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 da. I mean, we have all these excuses in the world why we're not selling, but the reality of it, we're not selling because we're not doing the activities. Step number 4, replace those feelings with a happy memory that you can vividly remember. This is one of the things my therapist actually told me. Always, when you are unhappy in a particular circumstance, a particular situation, or even if you're angry, emotions that you don't want, okay, it's replaceable. I never knew that. You can all of a sudden, so he gave me a scenario where I sat down and he told me, think about describe 3 words and the best things that ever happened in your life when you were in a particular moment, just a particular moment where you were. I was like, yeah, I was swimming in a pool, and if I was in high school, I had no problems, no bills, no issues to worry about. I had all the money in the world because I was working, and most of the people I was with, don't have money. They have to get money from their parents, and I was already working my own gig. I got like a couple gigs going on, so I was doing very well financially, and I was at the pool, in the community pool, and just laying down and relaxing, and I was relaxed. That's one of the things, refreshed and peaceful. That's the moment I can describe that particular moment. I was staring at the sky was blue, and I was thinking, wow, what a world, beautiful world. This is the most beautiful moment I actually had. And when I described that, in the midst of all these issues and chaos and problems I was having, right, he got a smile out of me. And that's the thing, right? We don't realize a person can give you a different perspective and change the way you think. So when you're stressed out, just try to find your husa moment, husa. I don't even know how to say it, but find your husa moment, So then you would feel better about yourself at that moment and change the negative feelings or negative thoughts into happy feelings. Recognize that you cannot change the past, nor you can predict the future. I talked about that a little bit earlier. We just can't. We just have to live in the present. Where you are right this moment, you can dictate how it looks like today. You can plan how it could be tomorrow, but it doesn't always work, your plan. But it's okay. At least you kind of guide yourself to the direction where you want your life to be. So an intentional life is much better than someone else's intentions for you. So this is the reason why we probably all have this real estate licenses, because when we were working at some point, we were thinking, well, you know what? I can work for myself. Great idea. Let me work for myself. Let me get my license and start selling house. Or when you bought your first house or your second house, you saw this agent next to you actually collecting his commission check, and like, wow, that's a lot of money. I could be doing that instead of doing what kind of work that I do. And he's independent. Well, guess what? All that comes with a price, right? And the whole idea of balancing your life and creating happiness within everything that's happening around you is the most important thing. All of us want to strive to be happy. We have an innate natural tendency that we're looking for happiness in our lives. And I'm telling you, the secret to that is really not a secret, but all of us already know, but we don't apply it. And that's where the problem is. So again, as I was explaining to you earlier, you got to look at the world from inside, create the world from inside, and you project it out, not the other way around. Okay? So as you having others outside of you actually affect you inside, so the world could be chaos, but within that chaos, you could be that one person sitting there in the middle of the chaos and saying, wow, this is exciting. I love it. So in the middle of COVID, okay, you could be the person that's actually selling a lot of houses, or you could be the 90% of the people that are saying, oh, it's because of COVID, my business is down. It's just an excuse. That's where the accountability comes in, right? So live in the present. That's very important to know. Live in the present. So how does this affect you in real estate? Simple. It affects you in real estate because your behavior, your actions, your decisions are based on an innate natural sense of being happy. And if anything that we're trying to accomplish in our lives, whether it's accomplishment, buying your Tesla or buying your huge mansion, whatever your dream is, all that goes into encompassing one scenario, one thing, right? All is to find happiness. So keep working out hard out there, right?